Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. And we're doing the canning thing again, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I know I got quite a few dislikes on my last canning video. I thought it was a pretty good video and everything, but who knows, maybe monkey butter is not for everybody. So yeah, you see I have a scale here, and one of the things that I'm going to be doing tonight, as you can see, is we have a bunch of jalapenos. There's a lot of red ones, some bigger ones. You get the idea. A bunch of jalapenos. This recipe calls for 3 pounds of jalapenos. So that's what we got to do. We gotta weigh out some jalapenos. And I've got me a big old bowl sitting right here. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And I do believe, come on, wake up. How is that thing already at 0? Okay, it's at 0. Okay, we'll do that. I don't know how it knew I had a bowl, but start dumping these things in there. See if we got 3 pounds. And we got 3.13. So we need to take a few of these out. We'll start taking them out until we get to the 3. We're getting closer, and I probably should be getting gloves on, but I'll put the gloves on in a few. Oh, we went too far. What the heck? Wasn't paying attention. Oh, we had 3. Right there. There's 3 pounds. We got a little extra. We'll do something with that. So we got our 3 pounds of jalapenos. The next thing we got to do is clean them suckers. And this thing won't turn off. Turn off, dang it. Oh well. We'll set it over here. Next thing we got to do is clean these things. Now, I'm making Cowboy Candy Relish. It's a bit different, and my stove is getting hot already. Let's turn that down. Now, the way I'm going to do this is, because there are some in my family that can't handle too much heat, so I'm going to kind of cut it in half a little bit. I'm going to de-seed half of them, and the other half that I'm going to just leave the way they are, with the seeds and membranes and all that stuff in it. So what we need to do is start cleaning these. Let me get set up and we'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. I got my fancy gloves on. For some reason they only gave me left-handed gloves, so I had to turn one around backwards. And yes, I'm joking. Okay, so like I said, these are strong. And these are all fresh from the garden. Some of these, they're going to be de-seeded and veined, or whatever you want to call them. Now, since this is relish, I'm going to rough cut these like this. Just like that, to go into the food processor. They don't have to be rings or anything like that. And I'm using a little spoon here like this to get in there and then pull all that stuff out. You kind of get the gist of it. Now, if it was just for me, I would just not even bother with all this. I would just take the top off and then cut them up a little bit and then stick them in a food processor and be done with it. Fortunately, we do have some small ones, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save half of them. These little ones, these are going to be the ones that I chop up with the seeds and everything in them, just because they're so small. And the bigger ones, I'll devein these. I think it'll be the easier way to go about it. And like I said, the easiest way to do it is slice them in half, or slice the top off, slice them in half, and then try to pull this down. And be careful of your eyes, because if you squirt some of this juice in your eyes, you won't be too happy. I'll put it that way. Go ahead and chop that up over here. Do the same with this guy. And like I said, I find it easier to start at the tip of the pepper and then work your way to the other end and just take the seeds out. If you get all the membranes out at the same time, that's even better. Chop that up. Okay, you guys don't have to watch me do this. It's kind of, you get it. So let me go ahead and finish this up, and we'll be right back. Just a side note before I get done with this. Those who have pets, please make sure that you sweep the floors, or try to not get a couple seeds that might fall or something like that, because if your pets get a hold of this, it'll be very painful for the little guys. So just a little tidbit warning in there. Let's get back to what we were doing. Okay guys, we're getting at the end of the chopping up stages, and as you can see, the little ones are so much easier just to go like that. And normally, if you're making cowboy candy, you just cut them into rings. But like I said, I'm making relish, so this is the way it's going to be. Now, if you like your cowboy candy hot, then you can skip the process of deveining and deseeding half of them. But if you have family members that don't quite like it spicy and stuff like that, then yeah, kind of have to go with the majority, I guess. And as you can see, all I'm doing with these is chopping the end off and giving it another chop. That way it'd be easier with the food processor. Well, it's not, I don't really have a food processor, but you'll see what I got. Okay, let's go get that now. Okay, as you can see guys, I have my handy dandy kind of food processor. It's a blender with an attachment on it, so we'll see how things work out, shall we? Okay, let's take this off, and we're going to start feeding some of these jalapenos. And yes, I have red jalapenos. If you leave jalapenos on long enough on the vine or on the plant, they will turn red. And I like to do this because to get a little bit of color there. Okay, ready? Noisy part. As you can see, there's a lot of seeds still in that, so it's still going to be really hot. Okay. Oh, yeah. And it is extremely strong. So be careful when you're doing this step. Okay, there you have it. That is all of the Cowboy Candy Relish all done up right there. Sorry, this stuff is really strong. There's some bigger chunks in there, but that's okay. As long as you get the majority of it at a relish state, then you're good. Now, we want to set this aside a little far away from me right now because it is very strong. And let's get ready to create the syrup that goes in it. Okay, so hang on. Let's get moving on to the next stage. Okay guys, we're back on the stove now, as you can see. Now the first thing we want to do is we're going to start with our sugar, and we have 4 cups here, but we're going to need 2 more cups. So let's fill this thing up a little bit on the 2 cup mark. There it is. Oops, let's go. To open another sugar. Be right back. Okay, so we have 4 in here. Here's 2 more. Yes, that is a lot of sugar, isn't it? 6 cups of sugar. And then we're going to get some apple cider vinegar. Make sure you shake it up real good. Okay. We need 2 cups of this. Find that 2 again. There we go. There we go. Now, get my trusty wooden spoon. Yes, I had a few people tell me about my wooden spoon. Now, I don't have a stove on just yet. I want to get everything mixed in here really good. Ooh, that vinegar is strong. Almost as strong as that pepper mixture. Okay, now we need to add the spices before we turn this on. So let me go get all the spices ready. Okay, let's go ahead and add the spices. And the first thing we're going to add is our turmeric. I'm probably saying this wrong, but you want a 1/2 teaspoon turmeric powder. Poof, there it goes. That gives us some good color too. 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. Yeah, make sure it's celery seed, not celery salt. Boom, there it is. And a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And can't forget the garlic. A lot of these recipes don't have the garlic, and I think the garlic makes a good deal here. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now let's go ahead and turn this on, and we'll get back to you when it starts to boil, because we want this to boil for 5 minutes. So make sure you stir this in really good. Make sure you incorporate those spices in here, because you don't want to have any of that yumminess on the sides or anything. You want to mix it in really good. So we'll be right back as soon as this starts to heat up a bit. And here's a little side note too. If you got this to where you're waiting for it to heat up and everything, get your other materials that you want to get sterilized, like your funnel. You want everything that's going to touch your food to be sterile, and this is one of the things. This little thing to get the air bubbles out. I'm not sure what they call it. I'm calling it a little dilly whacker. And we have our little magnet that gets our lids out of here, and of course we have our lids, but we're going to keep those in there for now. Okay, remember to keep stirring your syrup here, because you don't want anything sticking at the bottom or anything. And I always like to bring it up slowly, so it's, if you do too much too fast, I think it kind of like blisters or something. I don't know, it just doesn't turn out right. But we're almost ready at this point, and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, you can see we have a nice little boil going here. You want to do this for 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, you're going to add your peppers. Okay, let me turn this down just a tad. Got a good boil here. We'll be right back when it's time to add the pepper. Okay guys, we're ready for the next step. This is a doozy. So it's time to add the peppers to this. And that's why I left my gloves on. So now be very careful. You don't want this stuff splashing, because it's extremely hot. Add all of those yummy goodness peppers in here. Just like so. You want to, oof, that's strong. You want to start stirring this up, and you're going to want this to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to boil this for, I'd say 4 minutes. Yep, do it for 4 minutes. A nice steady medium boil. You want to work all those juices from the peppers into that syrup. And while that is going, you want to make sure you have your jars ready to go, already in the hot water, because this is hot. Your jars have to be hot. There's a lot of people say it doesn't matter, but I've seen a lot of jars explode because they were cold when they went into the hot water. Yep. And as you can see, it is starting to go pretty good now. Turn that back up. And we'll be right back when we're done with our not our hard boil, but our boil. Okay guys, we got our boil all done and ready to go. The next thing we got to do is, believe it or not, we're at a good stage here. And like I said, you want to make sure that anything that goes in this is sterilized. And I've already got it nice and sterilized in my dish there. Now what you want to do is strain off the peppers from this, and you're going to add it to your jars. If you guys can see that over there, I'm adding this to my jars here. You know, watch how much you put in there, because you want to keep some room for your juice, that syrup, because that syrup is where it's at, let me tell you. Okay, let's put that right there. Let me blob that down a little bit. Let's move this over to the next one. Do the same here. Strain as much of that off as you can. Put that in there. I'm making a mess. Now the good thing about this, once we get this in here, there's a lot of seeds in those little peppers. There we go. Once we have these filled up, and then we're going to have a lot of stuff left over in this pot here. What we're going to do with that is we're going to can that also, but that's going to be a syrup, and I'll show you how we're going to be doing that. A little bit more in there. The next one, and you may have to get another strainer out. I've got another one sitting over here, something like this, to get all the seeds and everything out, because we want the syrup just to be just the syrup. And right before we finish these off, I will show you what we're going to do. Yeah, we might have to get that other strainer. Let's go ahead and set that right there. Yeah, much better. Kind of need a smaller one for this, without the little dilly bobbers right there. Remember, be very careful because this is hot. Okay, looks like we got majority of the peppers out of there. Now let's go ahead and tap that down. Put this in the sink so we don't, well, actually we may just need that just a little bit. We've got another spoon here, see, and I'm going to sterilize it right there. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can get some more of these seeds out of there. There we go. Now, the next part is we're going to fill this up, put that juice in them jars to about where the neckline is. And my gloves are getting really sticky. And I'm making a mess. I'm gonna have ants all over here with this sweet stuff. Okay, once you get all these filled to where you want them, there we go. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to turn the heat back up on this thing, and we're going to hard boil this, so it's going to be boiling really hard, and I want to thicken this up a bit, and then we're going to add this for the extra jars that we got. So we'll be right back after this thing gets cranking up. Okay guys, while this is boiling up, getting ready to go, you are going to take your lids, and before you do that, you want to go in here and make sure there's no air bubbles. Take your little dipstick thingy, or whatever you want to call it, spatula, make sure there's no bubbles. You're going to do that to each and every one of them. Just run it around, tap the bottom of the jar with the little spatula, dipstick, whatever you want to call it. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-doop. Just like that. Make sure there's no bubbles. Do it to each and every one of them. Then you're going to dip your clean towel into your rim juice and clean those rims. Make sure you don't forget this stage. Always clean your rims. There you go. Make sure I stir this. Remember, you want that syrup to a hard boil for at least 5 minutes. There we go. Okay, rim juice is all done. Let's go ahead and add our lids. Like so. Just get a little stir to our syrup over here. Make sure it's not sticking. There we go. One more lid. There we go. And then you're going to put your rings on. Make sure, like I always say, finger tight. Finger tight. Not Hulk tight, finger tight. Just like Hulk, you're going to smash your jars. If you put them on too tight, bad things can happen. Just finger tight. There we go. And we'll get right back when we get to the syrup. Okay guys, our rapid hard boil for 5 minutes. You can do it a little bit more. You want to thicken this up as much as possible. Let's go ahead and scoot this over as close as we can to the jars, and we're just going to fill these jars up to about 1 inch, right to that little neck mark. Now you may ask, why are you doing this? Well, this syrup is awesome on chicken. You can add it to potato salad, coleslaw, all kinds of good stuff. You can marinate your meat. It's endless stuff, because I mean, you got the hot peppers that were in here. I mean, why would you want to waste this, right? Fill it up to about right there. Okay, let's move this over here. Let's move this guy over here. And remember, you want your jars to be hot. Let's kind of scoot this over here so I don't make too big of a mess. Go. You don't want to waste none of this syrup. There we go. One more jar. Try to move these over to the side a little bit here. And they are hot. And like I said, people still do this with regular cowboy candy, you know, where you do it in the rings. There we go. And I'm going to add just a tad more to this one. So we have a little bit left over here. There we go. Now, our last step here. Let me move this out of the way. I got a mess to clean up. Is we want to run our little dipstick around, make sure there's no air bubbles holding in there, because this is a little bit thick. So you want to run your dipstick, make sure there's no air bubbles. Now we want to get our rim juice. Yes, rim juice. And rub those rims nice and smooth. Clean off anything that might interfere with our seal. And I hear our canner is ready to go and doing a good job. And like I said this before, my extra rim juice, I toss it in there. And it is boiling, it's ready to go. So let's get our lids on here and get these things in there and be on our way, shall we? Last one. There we go. We are going to make sure these are all finger tight. Oops, we lost the lid. So what I usually do, if I drop a lid, I put it back in there, swish it around a little bit, make sure there's nothing to mess with that seal. Put it on there, finger tight. Finger tight. And the last one. Okay, now the fun part comes. We got to add all this. Whoops. Got to add all this to our canner over here. And it's being stubborn. There we go. So let's go ahead and add these. Very carefully add them to your water. Make sure they stay upright. These little half pint jars are so cute. They make good gifts. I hope to see people doing the monkey butter, and then I want to see people doing this. So I want to see those videos of people doing these, or send me pictures. If you don't do videos or anything, just send me a picture. It's hot. Okay, guys, let me go ahead and scoot this over here. Hopefully you can see the lid right there. I didn't show this last time, but always open the lid away from you, unless you want a Kardashian facial. Okay, once you do that, let me scoot this over here so you kind of get an eye. I don't want to put it directly under the camera because then it will get all foggy. We got these little things. This didn't work last time, but we can raise this up to where we can get a hold of these guys a little bit better. Oh, we already have a popper. Oh, there's another one. Okay, we're going to grab this guy right here since it's closest. Now, if they have water on it, leave the water on there. Kind of keep them level and everything, and move them to your towel. Gently lay them over there. Oh, they're popping left and right. Here's another one. And you want to leave your jars. You want to leave them alone. No touchy jars. And there's the syrup. Oh, syrup looks really good. Yeah. I know how much you'll, oh, it popped, it'll be fine. And you want to pick it up and look at it and look at all the yummy juices and everything that's in there. But no touchy. Leave it for 24 hours. It'll be on your counter. You can admire it from a distance, but no touchy. Lift this up, put it over here. And there we have it, guys. Now, if anybody makes this or anything, make a video of it, let me know. Send me an email, tag me in it or something, that way I know you made a video, because I want to see what everybody else does too. And there we have it. We have our Cowboy Candy Relish. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, comment, all that stuff, and we'll catch you later. God bless.